Okay. All right. Hello there on Periscope, on YouTube. Hope everyone is doing well this afternoon. There we go. Okay. So, here we go. Hope everybody's having a good day, a good afternoon. There we go. Make sure my sound is good. Okay. So hello there on Facebook, on Periscope, on YouTube. Welcome, welcome. My name is Jewel Martin. I am the CEO and instructor of Jumpstart with Jewel LLC. We do tutoring and provide educational services for adolescents as well as adult students, adolescent and adult students. Some of our students are special needs. They may have autism, ADHD. They may have some medical issues that keep them out of school or traditional class settings, and that's where we come in, providing tutoring and specialized one-on-one services virtually right now since everything is going on. So for the past few weeks we've been on every day, Monday through Friday, talking about fractions, because fractions are one of the topics I believe that students have the most trouble with. Again, I tutor adult students as well as children. Some of my adult students, hey there on Facebook, how are you? Thanks for coming in and sharing this out. I appreciate it. Some of my adult students are returning to school to make career changes. They may be getting their GED. They may be taking a college entrance exam. They may be taking an ASVAB test to go into the military. Or I have children that I tutor, second, third graders up to eighth graders. So today we're going to go over adding mixed numbers with like denominators. We've been going over fractions for the past couple weeks now, just a little bit at a time. And so if fractions are difficult for you, if that's one of the things that you're having trouble with, you can go back if you want and watch the other videos as well. But today we're going to be dealing with mixed numbers that have like denominators. So when you hear the word like denominators, it means that the denominators are the same. So there's a little confusion behind mixed numbers, but let me get my pencil up. So mixed numbers, and we've been going over this. Let me fix my mouse. There we go. Mixed numbers are just fractions that have a whole number and a fraction, what they call a proper fraction. That's all mixed numbers is. Some people say mixed fractions, but mixed numbers, just anything that has a whole number. So 4 is my whole number, and then the fraction could be 2/6. So the thing about adding mixed numbers, when you're adding mixed numbers, you don't have to convert them. You don't have to change them. You can add the whole numbers itself and then the fractions, as long as the fractions are like, as long as the denominators are the same, you can just add the whole numbers and then add the fractions. So for instance, if I had a fraction 1 and let's say 1/3 plus 9 and 1/3, all I would have to do would be to add the whole numbers together. I've got a 1 here and a 10, excuse me, a 1 and a 9. So of course 1 plus 9 is 10. And then you're going to add like you would your regular fractions. When you have fractions that have the same denominator, you add the numerators, and the numerators are the numbers on top. You add the numerators and you keep the denominator the same. So it would just be, the new fraction would be 2/3. 10 and 2/3. That's our fraction. That's the total. We added the whole numbers and then we add the numerators and kept the denominator. Let's try another one. 5 and 2/12 plus 4 and 5/12. So same thing, we're going to add the whole numbers. The whole numbers are 5 and 4. So we're going to add that together. That's a 9. And then we're going to go ahead and add the numerators. 2 plus 5 is 7. Hello there on Facebook. How are you? And then we'll keep the denominator the same, 12. So that's our answer for this one, 9 and 7/12. And thank you once again for sharing this out. If you haven't shared it out, I encourage you to share it out in case there's a child or an adult that needs assistance with some fractions. Share this out. I appreciate it. So let's do another one. We'll do one more, and then we'll get to another part of adding mixed numbers with like denominators. Here's one more. 2 and 1/7 plus 7 and 1/7. So same thing. You're going to add your whole numbers together. 2 plus 7 is 9. And then you add the numerators. 1 plus 1 is 2. And then we keep the denominator the same. 7 and 7, we keep it the same. So it's going to be 9 and 2/7. So that's how you do mixed numbers, adding mixed numbers with like denominators. Now, there is a time where it can get a little different, and that becomes different when you have a fraction. If you add two fractions together and the numerator and the denominator are the same, it's the same as 1, then that number changes. Hey, Dr. Cynthia, how are you? It's good to see you. Thank you for sharing this out. Let me see if I can insert another page. Oh, it moved everything. That's okay. So, let me go back. Okay. So, let's try, here's one. 5 and 3/5 plus 9 and 2/5. So once again, we're going to add these two together. Add the whole numbers first. 5 plus 9 is 14. Then we're going to add 3 plus 2. 3 plus 2 is 5. And then 5, the denominator is 5, so we keep it. We add the numerator. So if you've been doing fractions, you know anything about fractions, you know that when you have a fraction where the numerator and the denominator are the same number, 5 over 5 is the same as 1. It's the same as 1. So in a case like this, what you would have to do would be add this whole number, 14, to this 1. And instead of you having a fraction for a number, a whole number, and a fraction, you're going to add these together. The 14 plus the 1 is going to make your answer 15. So although we started with a mixed number, 5 and 3/5 plus 9 and 2/5, once we added the whole numbers and then we added the numerators, the numerator happened to be the same as the denominator, and you can't keep a fraction like that. If you ever see a fraction where the same numbers on the top and the bottom, you have to make it 1. It's a whole. So that becomes 15. Let's practice another one because that one gets people a little confused. So we'll do another one. 2 and 1/2 plus 5 and 1/2. Move this over. Here we go. So same thing. We're going to take our whole numbers. We're going to add them together. 2 plus 5 is 7. And then we add our numerators. 1 plus 1 is 2. The denominator is the same, so it's still going to be 2. So we know here that you cannot keep this again. If it's 2 over 2, you can't keep this the same. We have to make this a 1. So now what we have to do is add this whole number, this 7, to this 1. And then our answer becomes 8. You can't keep a fraction like 3 over 3 or 3/3 or 4/4. It's the same as 1. Okay? So let's do one more. Let's try this one. 6 3/5. No, let's try a different one. Let me erase that one. 6 3/6 plus 2 2/6. So same thing. 6 plus 2 is 8. And then you just add the numerator. 3 plus 2 is 5. And the denominator is just saying it's going to be 6. So this one, we don't have to convert it. It's different numbers on the top and the bottom, but it's still a mixed fraction. So that's how you add mixed fractions. And you know what? I'll show you one more because there's another one. We talked about simplifying fractions last week, where simplifying, also calling reduced fractions, where you make it smaller. There are going to be times when you have a fraction that you're adding mixed numbers, and you may have to reduce the fraction part of the number, not the whole number. So for instance, let me erase some of this so I have some room. So for instance, if I had 1 3/8 plus 1/8. There's no whole number here. I just have a 1 here. So I bring that 1 down. Now I add my numerators. 3 and 1 is 4. And then the 8 is the denominator. 1 4/8. Now, if you know anything about fractions, you know anything about factors, and I always tell my students, when you're doing fractions, you must remember how to do multiplication. You must remember factors and things like that. This fraction 4/8 can be reduced. They have a common factor. The common factor, and the factors, if you remember, factors are the numbers that you multiply together to get the product, to get the answer when you're doing multiplication. So to reduce fractions, you divide them by the same factor. It makes the fraction smaller. It makes so if you were drawing a picture and you had 4/8, you would have a shape that had 8 parts and 4 were shaded in. Well, by reducing the fraction, it makes the picture, it makes the number of parts smaller. So when you're reducing a fraction, you have to divide the numerator and the denominator by the same factor. And here, 4 is a factor of both 4 itself and of 8. So if you divide them both by 4, 4 divided by 4 is 1. And then 8 divided by 4 is 2. So that turns that fraction into a half. So your new fraction, once you put these two together, is going to be 1/2. We took the whole number, we kept that, and we reduced the fraction 4/8 into 1/2. Let's do one more. And that's where some of it gets a little tricky with mixed numbers, how you can reduce the fraction, but the whole number stays the same. Let's do one more. 2 2/8 plus 7 4/8. So here we go again. We're going to add our two whole numbers together. 2 plus 7 is 9. And then we add the fractions together. We add the numerators. 2 plus 4 is 6. And then we keep the denominator the same, 6/8. So if you know your factors, you know your multiplication facts, you know that 6 and 8 have a common factor. They are both multiples of 2. You know, any number that's an even number has 2 as a factor. So in order to reduce this fraction, we would divide them both by the number 2 to reduce it. That's how you reduce the fraction. So 6 divided by 2 would leave you with 3. Because if you remember, 2 times 3 equals 6. Division and multiplication, they work together. They're the opposites of each other. Some people say they're like backwards, if you will. And then 8 divided by 2 is 4. So we reduced 6/8. We turned it into 3/4. And then we still have the 9 here. So we put these two together. So our answer for this problem is going to be 9 3/4. And that's our final answer. So I hope that helped somebody. I hope that was helpful. I thank you for sharing this out. If you didn't share it out yet, I encourage you to do so. Please do so, as it'll help somebody. And if you have any questions or anything, you can put some comments in the chat in Facebook or even on YouTube, and I will go back and respond to them, okay? So I hope you all have an awesome day. Take care. Have a great one.